What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Something More Comfortable, the Black Velvet Experience. I am your host, the Bowtie Bully himself, Black Velvet. So, since we don't have a co-host this evening, I just want to raise a glass to everybody that's out there that's listening. If you're watching, I just want to say how much I appreciate the love that y'all show. Y'all running the number up. You know, we getting close to 1,000 downloads. Listen, and to get to 1 million downloads, you got to get to 1,000 downloads. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the shout outs, all the questions, all the different episode suggestions. I appreciate it. We will get to all of that. You know, got a lot going on. Knocking these out, trying to knock out a couple of episodes, because for everybody that doesn't know or hasn't been listening, I got a baby on the way. I got a daughter on the way. So because of that, I want to knock this out and, do these for you. Want to make sure that I, leave you something and have these in the hopper ready to go, because at the end of the day, what I do this for, I recently got a phone call from somebody close to me, and, they were like, yo, I appreciate you being so candid, being so open, being transparent, and sharing the things that you have going on in your life to help with, my relationship. Maybe I can share this with my wife, and, maybe she'll listen to it and it'll help her to open up. Because, at the end of the day, communication is so important when it comes to relationships, no matter what kind of relationship it is, whether it's romantic, whether it's parents and children, whatever it is, your coworkers. Communication is very, very important. So again, like I said, I just want to thank everybody that listens, that watches. Like I said, y'all running the number up. Think of all the people that support just in general. Listen, the people that have been so kind, to the point of buying gifts for my daughter. Somebody bought a crib, a stroller, all that stuff. You know what? I am so appreciative. I am so thankful. I know that my lady is thankful. So we could not have done what we're doing and what we're in the process of doing without you guys. So I thank you. Y'all show so much love. So now that we done got through that, I want to get into what I want to talk about this evening. And what I want to talk about has to do with communication. And it's going to seem like I'm going somewhere else, but if you stay with me long enough, you will realize that I am heading somewhere. Anybody that knows me knows I'm heading somewhere, no matter what it is that I'm talking about. So before I do that, hit up my Instagram, Black Velvet HD. Facebook is Black Velvet HD as well. Hit me up. Like I said, let me know if you have questions, relationship stuff that you would like me to talk about, that I could talk about on the show. I'm always about, we don't got to say no names. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's important that some people keep their privacy, so we don't have to say names. I ain't never been a name dropping type of person in the first place. I like to keep, what's quiet and private, and we can speak about what we can speak about. But obviously that's with the consent of everybody involved. But yeah, so the reason I wanted to do this is because recently I saw a meme and somebody was talking about the movie Love and Basketball, right? And I'm sure most of y'all have seen Love and Basketball. Some of us love it, some of us don't. For all the people that don't, I'm always curious. It's never about a debate for me. It's more of a, well, why don't you like it? What made you not like it? Because I like it, so I need to know what made you not like it. And what I found in that most people that didn't like it, it's almost as if they were watching a completely different movie than I was watching. Then most of the people that actually liked the movie, is like they were watching a completely different movie. And for the people that haven't seen the movie, I'm going to do a brief synopsis of it. Sorry, y'all, you know, the tongue. But I'm going to do a brief synopsis of the movie. And then I'm going to get into, like I said, why most people say that they don't like it. Because again, I'm not doing this obviously for the people that you know like the movie. You already know what the movie is about, but there's people that haven't ever seen the movie. Trust, I met a lot of people. But this is the basic plot. So essentially, you have these kids. You have Monica Wright and you have Quincy McCall. They both want to be professional basketball players, right? And they are childhood sweethearts. Monica moves from Atlanta to Los Angeles, and she moves right next door to Quincy. Quincy's father is a shooting guard for the Los Angeles Clippers, right? So Quincy is shocked that a girl, because if you watch the movie, you would there's a scene that you know they don't find out until after they've been playing for a while that she's a girl, but it's like that a girl could love basketball as much as he does and can play so well, right? So they have their first kiss. You know, I'm kind of speeding through this a little bit, but they have their first kiss. By the time they get to high school, they are the respective leaders of their high school teams, right? And Quincy is like a top prospect in the country, and you know he's popular with the girls. Him and Monica by this time are now just good friends because, you know, they were sweethearts when they were kids, but you know, we know how puppy love goes. It doesn't generally last that long. And so, Monica is like a hothead, you know, she's not a girly girl. She's a baller, you know, and anybody that's a baller, you know, or knows a baller knows like they don't tend to be, you know, want to be pretty. They want to get out there and they want to get it. And so, fast forwarding, they go to college. They find out that both of them are going to USC. So the night of prom, Quincy and Monica, they have sex, right? Okay. So they have sex and then they basically become a couple. So, you know, feelings get involved, you know, and really it's not even that feelings got involved. It's that feelings got rekindled from when they were kids. So that's the now they've made it to college. They're at USC, University of California, or Southern California for those people that don't know. But yeah, so because there is another USC, so just want to make sure that y'all know it's Southern California. So either way, they're there. Monica is obviously having a little bit more trouble when it comes to basketball than Quincy is, because Quincy was a top prospect. He's starting, you know, he's playing, he's doing his thing. Monica, however, is a freshman and she is on the bench and she's having these run-ins with a senior guard. And so there's troubles that come with that, right? And her relationship is strained with her coach because of some stuff that she does in practice. You know, we talking about practice? Yeah, we talking about practice. But yeah, she is having little troubles. So something happens that makes Quincy now, like, you know, go into a depression, go into this state where he feels like he can't trust anybody. So what happens is Quincy is struggling to deal with the media attention first and foremost, and then he clashes with his father's efforts to get him to finish college before going pro. The reason why they clash is because he lies to his son. So this is what happens. The father, Zeke, lies to the son about cheating on the mother, and the mother gets photographs of the father with his mistress, and the dad had lied to his son's face. And that made it a major issue, right? Now he is struggling to figure out who he can trust, because most of us know if you can't trust your dad, who can you trust, right? That's a major factor in life. Like if your parents lied to you, it's like, who can you trust? Sip break. All right. So back to it. So the night, so at this point, the player that Monica is having issues with gets injured. And so now Monica is going to start. Anybody that knows anything about college and playing sports is that you have a curfew. So the night that Quincy is trying to talk to her, and he needs that shoulder to like cry on, like someone to vent to, she leaves him because if she doesn't get back before curfew, she cannot start, and she wants to play. And so Quincy kind of flips out. And so he flips out. She starts seeing him with another girl. And then eventually he comes to her and he says, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going pro and I think we should break up. So by 93, so let's go back to college. College is 88. So in 1988, they are at USC. By 93, so again, we're moving forward. Quincy goes pro. He leaves after his freshman year and he goes pro. In 93, Monica is playing professional basketball in the International Women's Basketball Association in Barcelona, right? But Monica misses home and can't imagine life that does not include basketball. So both of these people really love basketball, especially Monica. Monica loves it, like to the point that she chose curfew over and playing over, being there for her man at the time that he really needed her. But we'll get back to that. And so she wins a championship, but her love for basketball just isn't the same as it was before, right? So Quincy, after his freshman year, he's in his fifth year in the pros. So these are like parallel timelines. He's in his fifth year. At this point, he's been traded to the Lakers, where he tears his ACL during a game. Monica flies home to see him, and she's saddened to see that Quincy has a fiance. And so Monica, falls into shambles, and and she goes to mama, and she's upset about it. At this point, Quincy is completing his physical therapy. Like he's at the point where he's close to being back into playing shape. He's also getting ready for a wedding. Remember, I said he has a fiance. So we're going to cover all this again. But I just, like I said, brief synopsis for the people that haven't seen it. And sorry, spoiler alert. I know I said that late, but hey, sorry, better late than never. So either way, at this point, Monica quits playing basketball and she starts to work at a bank. Now, seeing how unhappy Monica is, Quincy asked her question and basically asked her multiple times, like, hey, what would make somebody that loves basketball more than anybody, more than Dick Vitale, would make them stop playing basketball and work at a bank? And he makes a statement where it's like, and trade in your basketball for some shoes you can't even barely walk in. And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Long story short, Monica tells him why she doesn't like basketball anymore. She doesn't like basketball anymore because what? Because he isn't there. That's the thing that makes basketball fun for her, was that he was there watching. He was on the sidelines of her life, waiting for her when she got done playing. And so she challenges him to a game of basketball, to 5, 1-on-1 for his heart, right? And in doing so, he he beats her. Matter of fact, he dunks on her like super hard. But at the end of the day, he is like double or nothing, which means like, you know what? I'm going to get past my pride. I was hurt, and I needed you to feel that hurt a little bit by me dunking on you and playing you real heavy, playing you like a man. But eventually they get together. Now, a lot of the people, now that I gave y'all that, a lot of the people, and again, that was also for the people that have seen it but just don't remember it that well. But for a lot of the people that said that they didn't like the movie, the thing about the movie that they said they didn't like is that they felt like that Quincy, this is generally what I hear, man and woman. So it's not a sex thing. It is a, human thing. Men and women both said they didn't really like the movie because they felt like Monica was just Quincy's fallback chick. Like I can't really play basketball no more. And, and so I'm going to pick Monica because, my life ain't really working out the way that I had hoped it would. And I'm not this rich superstar and that I thought I was going to be. And so now I'm going to pick Monica. So that's what most people got out of that. And again, there's a reason why I'm even going in through all of this. Y'all get it in a second. So the thing that needs to be unpacked here, first and foremost, is that you have because what is it? They're in college, you know what I'm saying? So 88, and if it's freshman year, what is that? That means he is probably 18, 19 years old. That's generally your freshman year. Because when you come out of college, you're what? Like 22, 23, whatever. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, but think about it. He's like 18, 19 years old, right? And he has a situation. He has a situation where his dad has broken his heart. Like literally broken his heart. And so in breaking his heart and lying to him, and because I know how I felt when my dad did things to my mom or yelled at her or things like that. And so, and a lot of us know that same pain, that same feeling like, how dare you hurt my mama, right? And that's how he felt. But then he also felt disrespected because his dad is telling him, nah, that mistress, they lying. She not pregnant. That I ain't never even messed with this chick, da-da-da-da. And then the pictures pop up, right? So at this point, it's like, okay, wait. So now he comes, again, remember, we're not talking about, 25, 30-year-old man. We're talking 18, 19 years old. This is their freshman year of college. And what happens is that the night that he really needs Monica, the one that he loves, the one that he's like close to, the one person in the world that he feels like will be there for him when all the chips have fallen apart, is Monica. And in that evening, she chooses basketball over him. And again, whether that is the case, you have to think as an 18 or 19-year-old, that's how you're going to process it. You're not going to process it at 25, 30. Sometimes we don't process it properly. We don't process things like this properly. But again, he's 18 or 19 years old. And he is like, yo, I needed you that night. And so what do we do? What do we do in relationships when we don't feel heard, when we don't feel like we're getting what we need? What do? We go find somebody else, right? We go to somebody else. And so that's what he did. He didn't, and you got to take him at his word, but, and obviously it's the way that it's filmed. Because again, this is just a film. It's just a story. Yes, it's about relationships, but it is just a story. But the way that it's filmed, he's like, I never slept with the girl. I just went on some dates. And I went on some dates to get the person that I really want to be there, that I really want to be around, to even notice me. And so I'm basically using this other chick just to make you jealous. And women do the same thing. You know, they use a man, or, text messages or something else, or going out on a date with somebody to make their man jealous, to try to like get them to see like, hey, you could lose me. Right now, I first and foremost want to say that in the situation, he was not right. It was definitely not, it was childish. But again, he's 18 or 19. How many of us have made these type of mistakes? How many of them has done that at 25, at 30? I did it at 31, 32. So I've done it. So, and I know most of y'all probably have done it too. You're not getting what you need from the person that you really want it from. So you go find somebody that will give you that thing. It may not be sex. Now, sex may come into play, but it may just be conversation. It may be emotional connection, right? But either way, he's definitely not in the right. But you could also say her picking basketball over him in a time when he really needed her could be considered like, wow. Because if you put it on the shoe on the other foot, how would you feel if you really needed somebody and they chose, sports or whatever over you and your feelings and your need for them? But again, they're young, they're 18, 19. We don't always have our priorities together. We don't always know that something can, this isn't my only opportunity, right? We don't know that. But again, either way. So he then, again, now this is the part that I commend more than anything. And I want to take a service break on this one to make sure that people pay close attention to the fact that, again, he is 18 or 19 years old. How many men or women do you know can come to their significant other at 18 or 19, say, listen, I was wrong. That girl, I just wanted, it got you to notice me. To really speak on his feelings, to say like, you know what, I really don't know who I can trust right now. And rather than string her along, rather than try to pretend like, everything is good or everything is okay, it's like, you know what, I'm going to step away from this. I am going to step away from us and go do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going and I am stepping away, right? And so you think about that. Not everybody is able to do that. Not everybody's able to come to somebody and tell them, hey, I need to walk away from this. We're breaking up, and this is why we're breaking up. And say, I couldn't trust my dad, and at the time I really needed you and you weren't there. And I just used the girl as a way to get you to even pay some attention to me. But at the end of the day, I'm walking away. This is over, right? So again, like I said, how many people that could do that? I don't know a ton. But either way, so now at this point, Monica has moved on, graduated from college. Quincy is in the NBA, and he's bounced around from team to team to team. He's a journeyman at this point because, by 5 years in the league, you getting, some minutes, but it may be garbage. Like even in the movie, he was getting garbage time minutes. It's the Lakers are already winning, this game has no consequence at this point. The game's over. There's no way that this team can come back. Hey, go on and get in there for 3-4 minutes and get you some, some playing time, maybe get some points. Goes up for a layup, gets hurt. At this exact same time, Monica is living her own separate life, and she is going. She's overseas winning championships, so she out there doing her thug. She out there killing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sip break. But yeah, so she's out there doing her thing. She doing her thug thizzle, winning championships. Matter of fact, she even wins the championship over the guard. Her name is Sidra, by the way. But she wins a championship over the guard that she had troubles with in college. She wins a championship. Now, at this point, she is tired of being overseas. She misses home. These super expensive phone bills, because calling this ain't long distance, folks. This is this is international, and this is at a time when, because you got to think, this is 93. In 1993, cell phones wasn't popping like that. Back then we still was on minutes. You know what I'm saying? You got so many minutes a month for a certain price. It wasn't unlimited like it is now. And so, and you couldn't call, you couldn't call anywhere in the world. But yeah, so it was becoming expensive. She was tired, and she didn't really want to admit what was really bothering her, what was really wrong. And she comes back. At this point, Quincy has gotten hurt. She won her championship. Quincy gets hurt. He is in the hospital, just had surgery. She comes back to visit him, sees that he has a fiance. So at this point, he isn't stringing Monica along. He has a fiance. Both of their lives have moved in completely different directions, right? So now he is trying to make Kira, which is played by what is that girl's name? Tyra Banks, played by Tyra Banks, but he's trying to make her an honest woman, and you really don't ever get to see this character very long, so you don't really know what this woman is like. You don't know if she's nice. You don't know if she's a hanger-on. You don't know who this woman is. All you know is he has a fiance. He's supposed to be getting married, like very recent, or not very recent, in the very near future. There we go. Wording is hard sometimes, but anyway. But either way, so in the very near future, he's supposed to be getting married. Monica comes home. She quits basketball altogether. She becomes a banker with her daddy. So what? And again, Quincy asks her, "Yo, how you give up basketball to wear shoes that you can't even walk in?" And she doesn't want to answer. And he asks her again at some point, and she gets in her feelings. And then she gets into it with her mama, because she wants her mama, who is a very Southern woman. Because again, even though they live in Los Angeles now, these people came from Atlanta. She's a very, Southern woman. I iron my husband's shirts, and I do everything to make him feel like a man. Da 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 da. She's not about making a scene. She's not about fighting. She isn't. They have always clashed because Monica never wanted to be a girly girl. Her mama tried to make her into a girly girl, and they always clashed because Monica wanted her mother to basically just love her as she was. But that's for a whole nother day, whole nother situation. But again, they get into it, and ultimately the mama tells her, when I said that, because her mama basically says something to the effect of Quincy could do better than Kira or Tyra Banks' character, whatever. Again, she really ain't that important to the plot, but you only see her once. But either way, so she basically says, when I was saying that that Quincy could do better, I was talking about you. Girl, I was talking about you. It should be you. But again, she's like, I'm not about to tell you to jump in the middle of that situation. But then in the middle of the night, Monica wakes Quincy up and says, I'll play you 1-on-1, verse to 5 for your heart. And Quincy is understandably pissed off, understandably upset that the week before my wedding, you come with this bull, you know what I'm saying? You come with this mess talking about play you for my heart. And it's like, what? And so he beats her, and you know, he starts off slow, but then he eventually beats her and, you know, slams it in her face hard, and her heart is about to bust out her chest. She's hurting so bad. And then he stops her and he says, hey, double or nothing. Meaning, like, let's play again. And when I was thinking about it, it's like, I never even thought about that. But how can you have double or nothing if my heart is what we're playing for? How can, you know, it's not like money where it's like, we played for 1,000 this first game, but now we're playing for either 2,000 or nobody gets anything. So either I get 2,000 or nobody gets anything, you know. So, but it's basically his way of saying, you know what, I love you and I really want you, right? So, having said all that, right? First and foremost, I would love to know, please, in the comments, hit me up on my Facebook, hit me up on my IG. Please tell me, how do any of you, based on what I just said, based on what the movie actually is about, how do you get that he chose her as a consolation prize? He had a fiance. He was in the process of getting married. She came to him, and he had to admit that he still loved her. And honestly, this is the reality of it. It would have been disrespectful of him. It would have been unfair to Tyra Banks' character to marry her knowing how much he still loved Monica, because he never would have gave her his all. He never would have truly gave her his heart. He probably was marrying her because she was a close facsimile, but not necessarily as far as like attitude and all of that, but it's kind of one of those close enough type of things. And again, they were away from each other. He thought it was over. He thought there was no way. He had, I want to say he had reached out to her, and she was like, oh, you know, voicemails and blah, 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 and, you know, making excuses for why she never responded. And so he tried to get her back. She didn't respond. But now at this point, so again, I never could understand this. How are you mad at Quincy because of him choosing her at the end? And then somebody said, oh yeah, now he can get her WNBA money. And I was thinking to myself, wait a minute. Even now the WNBA doesn't make any money, but the beginning, like they make, you know what I mean? Like they make like G League money. I want to say G League, men's G League may still make more money right now than like superstars in the WNBA. We're talking just their pay, not all the other incentives, not their endorsements, just that stuff. So, but you're talking, this is the beginning of the WNBA, and people are like, oh, he got with her because now he can't play basketball. And it wasn't, he didn't really want to play basketball anymore. He wanted to do something else. It was her that really, really loved. He thought that he wanted to be a star because his daddy had played basketball, and he was trying to be like his daddy. And what did he say? He even says in the movie, I had spent all that time trying to be my daddy. At some point, I had to realize I needed to learn to actually be better than him. And being better than him had nothing to do with basketball. It had everything to do with life and him being a man in life. So again, I would love for anyone to explain to me, to give me a rational, not argumentative, but a rational response to explain to me, how could you see him as being at fault in the end? But now to my point. The reason why I thought about this, I was like, I was sitting and I'm listening to people tell me about why they don't like it. And then I'm trying to figure out, what movie were you watching? But then it started to hit me. If you can do that with a movie, right? If a person, because if we go back to speech, right? When we were kids, high school, I did speech in high school. It was like a different level of speech. Like, we actually went and watched a play at a college and all kind of stuff, but like not the speech from grade school, but the speech, as you got older. But even I think the younger one, but I don't remember. So I'm gonna go with the one from high school. But the one from high school, you have a situation where you have a sender, you have a receiver, right? The sender sends a message. What I'm saying to you right now, this is me. I am the sender of this message. You are the receiver of this message. Now, generally what happens in a dialogue or in a conversation is that the receiver then sends feedback to the sender, and then the sender then becomes the receiver, and then it becomes this feedback loop. Right. And where and that's how you have a conversation. So in a situation where it's a movie or like music or something like that, but in this instance, we're talking about a movie, but we're talking about a movie in it. So if you think about this, if people can misunderstand or misinterpret the message of a movie, which they have, because one lady told me she had seen it multiple times. And as a sidebar, tried to say that I was younger than her when I saw that she had just recently celebrated her 30th birthday. And I'm thinking, like, I'm about to celebrate my 39th. But I was like, what does my age have to do with it? It's like we processed it different. And I'm okay with agreeing to disagree. But it was like, because I accidentally responded to her. I was actually trying to respond to the post, not to underneath her specific reply. Unfortunately, I did that. But either way, but no, it's like, I want to know, and I wanted to know, and it's like, but if you can do that with a movie, that you have multiple opportunities to hear the message, and every single time you still interpret it completely different from the way that it was sent out. And there are so many reasons. It's just like with the radio in your car. There are so many different reasons why the signal could come through unclear. You can have, obviously rain. There could be something wrong with your antenna on your car. There could be something wrong at the station. There could be so many different reasons. But again, so it's like with a movie that you can watch over and over and over again. And you may have seen 10, I've probably seen it about 20 times, but either way. And I love the movie, but especially the end, the music. But either way, if you can do that with a movie that is sending a message and you receive it completely differently than they intended, than what was being said, what was being shown, based on a lot of things, based on your own traumas, based on being jaded, based on being jaded, trauma. I'm trying to think of the other word that I'm thinking of. Based on past experiences of relationships where now and again, I guess that is jaded. You've gotten to a place where it's like, men are like this or women are like this. And so you're not even listening to what is happening or seeing what is actually going on. You see something and now you just play a loop. It's just a loop inside your head. And so you're actually giving yourself your own feedback as opposed to even hearing the message coming at you. You're just looping something that has happened. Something happened in the movie that triggered this thing inside your brain to now loop your bad experiences. And it was like, and then blame it automatically on the man, or because again, it's men and women are both blaming it on that man, that he's completely in the wrong for the situation. But yeah, it's like, but it's like, if you can do that with a movie, because this is what my point is. If we can do that with a movie, right? Come in close. If we can do that with a movie, think about how much more we do that with the ones that we love. Think about how much more we do that with the men and women that we say that we want to spend the rest of our lives with. See how we can, and then we can destroy, because the movie, I mean, yeah, you could talk trash about a movie. You could have, group posts and all kinds of stuff, right? But you can't really destroy a movie. A movie is a movie. It's going to keep doing what it does till the end of time. It is, and it was, it's going to be for a very long time. But think about that. But you do that to the person you love. Think about how you can tear them down. Think about how much you can destroy a relationship, something that could be beautiful, because you cannot see past what you've gone through. You cannot see past the trauma. You cannot see past what happened between your mama and your daddy. You can't see past what happened to you with your baby daddy, or the last chick that you were with, or your ex-wife and what she did to you. You can't see past that to love the person that is standing in front of you, and they haven't done anything to you. And think about how many times they step on a landmine, because that's what I always call it. It's like a minefield. And you have these mines. You never tell them that those mines are there, right? You never talk to them about them. You never discuss those minefields. And so because you never discuss those minefields, they keep on stepping on things, and then you blow up. And your blow up may not be anger. Your blow up may be irrational fear. It may that explosion may be insecurity, to the point where it's like, why are you talking to her? Why are you, and it becomes toxic. You know what I'm saying? That thing becomes toxic. The reason why I said that, and I went through all that, and I went through the movie thing, and again, this is only for the people that's going to stick around long enough to hear it. Because again, I'm one of those people. Hey, it takes time to get the thing that you want. You know what I mean? You don't get to be 20 without 20 years of living. You don't get to graduate without, get a diploma from high school without going through either the years or the information and the knowledge to be able to get that diploma. Not a GED, a diploma, like just a regular diploma. Generally, most of us have to go through 12 years of school to get a diploma, because we start at 5 and we end at 18. So yeah, 12? No, whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Actually, no, I think that's 13, right? If you start at 5 and you end at 18, generally, yeah. But either way, but think about that. So I'm only doing this for the people that made it to this far. But the point is, it's like, think about that. I know, and especially in our community, in the Black community, we talk about, not wanting to go talk to nobody, not wanting to go see nobody. And maybe you don't need a therapist. Maybe you just need somebody that you can trust. And this would be my other thought about that. You have to be that person. You know what I mean? You have to be that person. So with my lady, perfect example, I had to become that man. I had to become that man. I had to become the man that was patient. I had to become the man that saw beyond the things that she was doing or saying, to see that there was something more. Like, that's not who she is, and it's not even about me. It's something that happened from the past. And I have to help her see that, hey, I ain't that. This ain't that. We're not that. I don't see you that way. I've seen your past. That's cool. I got a past too. Look at what mine looks like. I'm not here to judge you, because that's the other thing. It's not having any kind of judgment, right? Not having no kind of judgment when it comes to being with somebody. Having no kind of judgment, no kind of, feeling of like, oh, well, you're, oh, I can't believe you did that. We all got a past. We all got something. But at some point, we have to dig within ourselves, see the thing that is keeping the message of love from hitting the receiver with the proper signal. Because that's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about no movie. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about the ability to stop thinking about, not saying ever forget it, but stop functioning in this new thing with that old thing. There's a saying, matter of fact, let me look it up, because I don't want to mess it up. I want to make sure I get this thing right. Hold on. Sorry. Because I kind of try to move in the spirit when I talk. Yeah. And so sometimes, different things come out of me that I didn't know was going to come out until it happens. And so I can't be as scripted as most people are. That just ain't who I am. That's not my natural nature. My natural nature is to let the spirit hit me and move me, and then I say what I'm going to say. But this is the thing. Now, mind you, we talking about relationships. We talking about love. We talking about that kind of stuff, right? But in Mark 2:22, obviously in the Bible, but Mark 2:22, it says, "No one puts new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is lost, and the skins as well. But one puts new wine into fresh wineskins." So at some point, we jump from relationship to relationship to relationship, and we don't ever change out the wineskin. Or in some versions it says bottle, but we don't change out the bottle. And think, that just hit my spirit right there. Think about this. So we only got to, because again, I know some of y'all going to be like, oh, he talking about God. He's talking about the Bible and all that. How about this? Watch this. I'll talk to you in the world, not even in the spirit. We're going to talk to you from a worldly perspective. How many of you have had a bottle of water? We ain't even talking about wine. We ain't talking about nothing else. We talking about water. How many of you have ever had a bottle, a plastic bottle, and you never cleaned it out? Or you didn't clean it out for a while, and you just kept putting new water into that bottle? What ended up happening? I can tell you what happened, because it's something that is going to happen. It is a thing. Water is going to do this. Think about it. This is water. Water is going to get to the point where it leaves certain residue within the bottle. It's going to start to make a smell. It's going to smell like mold. It's going to smell like mildew. and it's gonna make the water taste terrible with time. You could put a fresh bottled water into that bottle, and what is going to happen is that what's in that bottle is going to infect and going to incorporate itself and infiltrate that bottled water that you just poured into it, and it's going to change the taste of the water. Now, let's stop talking about water. Let's stop talking about wine. And let's talk about love. It's the same thing. If you don't ever change what's in your heart, in here, in your mind, and you keep trying to bring new love into it, what's going to happen is that it is going to infect the one. Unless that person has a great deal of patience and is willing to love you through it, and is willing to only pour as much in as you can clean out, and slowly but surely show you like, hey, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we should take the time to remove and clean out some of that stuff. Get a new bottle maybe. And obviously we can't pull our brain out our head and swap it out for a new one, but we can change our mindsets. We can change our thoughts. We can change the way that we perceive this life and what we gonna go through and what we are going through, and see it for some other way than what it has been. See it for what it is and what it could continue to be if you let go of that old thing. If you clean out, like I said, clean out some of that stuff to be able to allow some good stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, always, these are in love. This is as far back, anybody that was listening to me before when I was doing other videos, this has always been about love for me. It's always going to be about love in every single form of it. But this particular platform is about love between people. It's that romantic thing. And it's like, how can we get to a place where we stop, getting married and then getting divorced, and then getting married to another person and getting divorced, when we stop giving up so easily on one another and realize that, you're going to go to the next person and they're going to have problems too, just like you have problems. In the same way that we want mercy, we want grace, we need to give it in love. But it say love is patient, love is kind, love is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. I'm not saying it verbatim, so you ain't got to be like, that ain't how it exactly go. I'm not trying to give you how it exactly goes. I'm just trying to tell you, but the reason that verse or that idea isn't just for the person you talking to. It isn't just for them, baby. It's actually for you. You have to be just as patient as you want them to be. You have to be just as kind as you want them to be. You have to be just as long suffering. And again, I'm not telling you to just take anything, but obviously there are some things that just are going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are just going to be some things, and it may rub you the wrong way, but is it something that is worth throwing it all out for? Maybe, maybe not. That's for you to decide. But at some point you have to move with a certain type of love and a certain type of connection and commitment to the thing in order to have that thing that we want most, which most of us want, which is to love somebody and have them love us in return, and be okay with being vulnerable enough to love them. With that being said, y'all, I love you. I listen, I can't wait to get back to y'all, but I cannot tell you how excited I am to see my daughter. It's been 39 years. I've been wanting kids for a long time, and obviously God knew I wasn't ready for them and all those other times. And I feel like I probably got into a lot of situations that made it to where children couldn't be produced because subconsciously I probably knew that there wasn't anything to be produced in that season or in that soil. That wasn't the right soil for my seed. So with that being said, y'all have a good one. Like I said, if you got any questions, if you have any stories, if you have any comments, Facebook, Instagram, you can hit me up. Black Velvet HD. I'm gonna be bringing the website back. IamBlackVelvet.com. It should be back up within the couple of weeks. Again, I'm gonna be focused on making sure the house is good and everything is right for when my daughter and my lady get here. So, with that being said, move in love, y'all. You have a good one.